This video is calling out some people who ask far too many questions while in the workplace. A couple of reasons why an individual may ask a lot of questions could be a good sign about their character or a bad sign about their character. The person asking a lot of questions, they could be overly dependent. An example is where they put a lot of trust in the authority figure and they don't trust themselves to make a decision. This can happen in any job, any position. They may constantly seek the supervisor because they lack self-motivation or they lack confidence in their skills. And so that's something to keep in mind and to approach that particular person who may be leaning very heavily onto the advice of the supervisor to give them that motivation and to let them know that they can trust their skills. So say, for example, if they're not an individual who doesn't have critical thinking skills and no motivation, they could be an individual who is trying to avoid responsibility. For example, they may say, well, supervisor so-and-so said I could do it, so went ahead and do it. I don't know why I'm in trouble. Or they'll say, they told me to do it this way. I noticed it was a little different from what was in the standard operating procedure, but if they gave me the go-ahead, I went ahead and did it. I'm not sure why I would receive a demerit. And so that is a very conniving way to avoid responsibility by asking a lot of questions, trying to get the answer you want, or trying to get the answer that requires you to do the least work. And that leads into the third reason. Some people ask a lot of questions in the workplace in order to avoid doing work. If they can burn those 8 hours a day with a bunch of questions, a bunch of emails, a bunch of instant messages, and long drawn out, requests for answers, and then burn up a lot of time waiting for responses or constantly asking questions, wanting more and more detail when they had sufficient detail to go off in the first place, they may be avoiding work. Okay, let's give them some credit. Maybe they're perfectionist. Maybe they're trying way too hard to please and they're overcompensating for any deficiencies that they think they have by asking a lot of questions. They think that constantly checking in with those around them or those who've been on the job longer or with their supervisors and managers, they think that doing that will help them to do the job perfectly when really a new job, you're going to make a bunch of mistakes in the first place. Not understanding what is expected of them is another reason why people ask too many questions. Be clear, let them know what they have to do.